Hey everyone, welcome. We are going to try something brand new and crazy. We are going to try to work some Kabbalistic mysticism right here, right now. Imagine that. Okay, I just want to make sure that we are all systems rolling. Yes. Oh man. Kabbalah secrets practice live on YouTube. Kabbalah, maybe I should have added an H at the end. But we are rolling. So, as I'm sure you know, we have a lot of people that are intrigued by the mysticism of Kabbalah and Hasidic philosophy, and good for them. And me personally, I've been studying Hasidic philosophy many years, and for me to say that I could practice it live it takes a lot of guts, and I know that I can't do it without impressing everyone. So I really hope to impress everyone. The book we're going to be using is this, Likutei Deborim. Um, and I could actually say that I was surprised when I went into the Judaica store in Crown Heights, Brooklyn, and I asked them if they had a reprint of this book, and they told me no. And if there was none in the store, and I said, when's the next time they're going to reprint it? And they said, well, maybe next year or during the summer. And I was shocked because this is such an important book. Um, and that they were just like, well, maybe next summer or something. It was shocking to me because without this book, I don't know where I would be, and I don't know where many Chabad Hasidim would be. And I'm opening up the first part in the Hebrew version of this book. This is a book by the previous Lubavitcher Rebbe, and I want to say one thing: you could learn Hasidic philosophy all your life and miss the point every single time. And I don't say this because I'm trying to say that I have an edge or something, but it's something, it takes time to appreciate um, what is going on when you learn Hasidic philosophy. And just to give you an example, I know everyone's waiting for me to jump into the business already, but it's like a young cheetah. He learns how to hunt. He has the right, he learns how to run and catch his prey and trap him. But once he catches him, he's out of breath, and instead of just taking the bite on the neck, he lets his prey go. And then his father's like, or his mother's like, you just let the prey go. You caught him, you had him on the floor, but you lost your breath, and of course you kill him, and you wait for a half hour. That's how the cheetahs do it, a half hour, an hour, just to catch your breath, and then you eat him. But you can't let yourself catch your breath before and then let the animal go. You got to kill him and then hold him down. You can't let that. So the same thing is, I feel like a lot of Hasidic philosophy is lost in the practice sense because it's caught, it's held down, but then it's let loose, and then you miss it. Life gets hectic, people get jobs, people get working, and then they lose the moment and they don't practice what they learned. And that's why now that I'm married and I had time to, be in the stuff, I had time to be in the books, and now I have time to run my family and to live my life. And now I'm coming back to the books with a new light, and now I'm going to show you how to use this stuff, how to use Hasidus in your day-to-day life in a way that you can actually practice it and you could actually see results in your real life. And I'm going to show you what happened today. What happened today, when I say today, is this Shabbos, because now in Israel Shabbos is over, now in America Shabbos is over. This Shabbos, I opened up the book, and I didn't even open up like a random page. I opened up the first page. I said I'm going to start from the beginning, and I'm going to see how to use this. And I used it, and I'm going to show you now how I used it. Of course, this is not only the Hasidic philosophy that I learned. Again, it's also the life experience. It's also the tips and tricks that I'm hearing from all over. But now look at this, and let's try to do this. This is something that nobody does, something unconventional. So I'm reading here, Shmini Atzeres, Simchas Torah, Tov Reish Tzadik Gimel, roughly 100 years ago, and the previous Lubavitcher Rebbe says, thought matters not only is thought the first dress, the first lavush, the first garment of the soul, and it's also the the garment of the soul which unites the soul with the body, but it also has a very strong power, and it is actually very connected to action. Thinking about someone else in a good thought and in a detailed thought, that itself is an action. But it is an action in the world of thought, which still needs to come down into speech and physical action. Thought has no boundaries and no divides. At every moment, it reaches the place that it needs to get to. And then one of the people there asked, what does the other person have from your thought? And the previous Lubavitch Rebbe said, a lot. Harbe meod. A lot. Very much a lot. Now, before I continue to the next paragraph, I want to tell you how you can use this. And now this is not even, if you want to look at mysticism and things, the ninjas, the famous ninjas, or they did a couple social experiments on this as well. You take people and you tell them to just think in their head and imagine something else far away in a certain location, and you direct them a little bit according to the information you have, and you let them sit there for 2 hours thinking about that location. Chances are they're going to connect to whatever's happening over there and start to build a fuzzy picture, and they can actually draw it, and they can actually have an accurate picture of what's actually happening over there. And there is a connection, and I sometimes like to say that if cell phones were not invented, we would figure it out alone with our minds, with strengthening our minds. But let's use this now. What I used in this, and it says like the thought process with you and someone else, and I said let's use that thought process. And this is what happened. I was thinking of buying a soda machine or something along those lines, a machine that I can once in a while come fill it up with stuff and then come back later and see the profit. Something that it doesn't take a lot of time to put into it, but then I can get out of it a lot. And I was thinking to buy it, and then I contacted the person that I saw was selling one in the area, and he told me a price, and I couldn't afford it, and that was the end of that. And I decided I'm going to use the machshava theory to try to bargain my way into continuing what I wanted with this soda machine. And I used a tactic of another guy on the internet which said you don't need money, you need strategy. And I used both of these things together, and I said instead of I don't have money but I have a strategy, and I'm going to build this strategy in a way that I'm going to create, like a producer for a movie, I'm going to create a dialogue between me, the owner of the machine, and I'm also going to create a dialogue between me and the person that I'm supposed to rent the place for the machine from. And I started to create this dialogue in my head between me and the owner of the machine. And I said to him, based on, of course, in my thought, of course, this never happened yet. This is Motzei Shabbos. This is Saturday night, and I'm supposed to be I'm gonna be busy tomorrow and the day after, so I'm not gonna have time to deal with this. So it's gonna be only Tuesday maybe that this is gonna actually happen. But in my mind on Saturday, after reading this, I said I'm gonna build this in my mind. And in my mind, I went to the guy that owns the machine, and I asked him, how much do you want for this machine? So he said 2,500, which is the price that he said last time. And I said, I'll give you 4,000, but in a year's time. You want 2,500? I'll give it to you right now. But if you want, in a year from now, 12 months, I'll give you 4,000. And he said, okay. He said, fine. Take the machine for 4,000. Okay, then I went to the owner of the place where I want to put the machine, and I told him, listen, I'm ready to take care of the machine, fill it up all the time and everything, and I'm ready to give you, for as long as you let me have your machine here, 20% of whatever profit I make from this machine. However, this machine costs a lot of money. It costs me 4,000, and I want you to give me 2,000 to chip in for the machine because I don't have that money right now. So he said yes, and then I took that 2,000. I went to the store. I bought all the stuff that I need for the machine, and I got it up and running. And I started paying the owner of the machine. Started paying him for the machine. I started paying my 20% profit, and then I started that business. And within a while, I was making money and I was on my feet. And that was the thought process only. And I was actually feeling the dialogue. I was actually feeling the energy. And I was actually creating a reality that maybe if I would have tried to do it on the street, on the spot, first of all, it would be much harder for me and I wouldn't come up to the right conclusions and I wouldn't be able to think about all the details calmly. It's much easier to sit on a couch and think about how you want to run the show from far without the stress of other people on your neck than to do it in front of the person and you're running out of ideas and you just feel all, oh my God, I can't do this, and then you just walk away like a clown. So the power of thought is very, very powerful. I'm going to continue to the next paragraph. So I just showed you guys that when the previous Lubavitcher Rebbe says this, or a Hasidic philosophy says this, you have to know that this is real. This is stuff that you could use in your life, and this is stuff that could help you in your physical and spiritual growth. And this is no joke. Okay, so let me continue. And he says, it's a known fact that thought matters. The thought is the foundation of the action, which comes after a ishtalshalos, which is, it comes down after level, how it comes down to here. Every person knows from his flesh that thoughts is the source of action. And then he goes on to explain a little more deeper. It says, it's better a thought of good than a thought of negativity. It's better a positive thought than a negative thought. A thought of good than a thought of destruction. Garments are called midos. Midos also means measurements. And the garments of destruction are garments, which we said garments are like the thoughts which bring to destruction. Thoughts, evil thoughts, not only distort your dmus, distort your character, distort your image, they also weaken the health of the person till they destroy the body. And a good thought or a good garment, thoughts that bring good, this is also thoughts that are connected to the study of the Bible and the service of God through prayer or contemplating. Not only is thought in the Bible or introspection in the Bible a good thing, but it also brings to good action. This is also the same thing when thinking about good for others. That when you're thinking about helping others, it helps them, especially if it's an in-depth thought. Now, again, this is of course, bordering on, on positivity, on goodness and kindness, on trying to help the other. And this is not new for Hasidus or Hasidic philosophy to encourage one to help others. This is not something new. But what the greatness that I found in this is that it also can help a person himself grow. In other words, of course, Hasidic philosophy is always desperately reminding humanity that, If you want to help others, you have to help yourself. That's what, that's the best way to help others, is by helping yourself. If you can't help yourself, you can't help others. So Hasidic philosophy is always reminding us about that. But for me, um, to see how the Hasidic philosophy is showing us how to help ourselves and giving us also a way to do that with this process. Of course, it's a very general process, and I'd have to improvise a couple more details. But just, in today's rush and rush life, where no one has time to breathe, everyone's checking to see what everyone else is saying and what everyone else is doing, and everyone's trying to get their information force fed to them. So to see this kind of simple concept, and the guarantee that the previous Lubavitcher Rebbe gives you, yes, this is going to work. Yes, this is going to actually um, be awesome if you do it. To see this is very, very healthy, and I think it's healthy if you do it, and it's comforting to see it like that. And of course, again, I just encourage everyone to think through. If you have an issue in life, it's just sometimes just stop everything and think hard on how you want to see it, and make sure everyone's happy, um, and make sure that it all works out. And I'm going to end off with another great lesson we could learn from another great person, Napoleon. Napoleon won his best battle when he only joined right at the end, right before the battle actually started, um, and that's the battle that he won. So he went home. He said, I'm gonna confuse the enemy. I'm gonna stay in Paris. I'm gonna stay in the capital, make myself seen in all the festivities and hanging around town, so no one should be thinking that I'm starting a war. And then at the last second, he went and he joined his hundreds of thousands of troops at the battle. But the time that he was home, and he wasn't in the battle tent, he wasn't running with the soldiers, gave him time to think, gave him time to be calm, gave him time to plan, and gave him time to be ready. And even if he didn't plan everything didn't come prepared, but at least he had the time to think, and he made the right decisions on the battlefield when they were needed. So that's another lesson, the same concept here, that thinking is a very, very powerful tool. And the reason I bring Napoleon out of all people into this is because the first Lubavitcher Rebbe, 7 generations ago, the Alter Rebbe, Rabbi Shner Zalman, was chased down by Napoleon, and Napoleon wanted to catch him, um, and he wasn't able to. But I still, even though they were arch enemies in a way, and they had to keep a distance, but generations later we see that, like as the Rebbe says, France is now a beacon of light, and Napoleon's work is being recognized as a positive thing because he brought down the kings and queens in the human race, and right now that directs our attention more to God as the true and only King of the world. At that time, it was still, if it would have been widespread and accepted throughout the world at the time of Napoleon, then it would have made a lot of heretics, according to the Alter Rebbe, and that's why it was a threat to those who served God. But right now, it's not a threat anymore, and I think that Napoleon's work and the work of all those who died in his wars um, is coming to light, and the positivity of it is coming forth. And that's why I think that Napoleon was also someone that we could um, look towards for ambition, for never giving up, and for as wrong as everything goes, you could always try again and do it right. Not in the way that Napoleon did it. Obviously, Napoleon was a military man, and that's the only thing he knew. So he went around killing and trying to get his point across by killing. Obviously, that wasn't exactly the right way of doing things, and we can see many great people that have a great influence on the world that don't need to kill anyone. Um, so maybe we shouldn't take Napoleon's way of doing things. However, we could definitely take the good things out of every person. And I think that Napoleon, in that instinct, made the right decision. And in the time that he lost, which was when he was with Russia, I think that he wasn't thinking things through as his men were marching. He went with them, and there wasn't enough time to think, and then maybe there wasn't enough time to make the right decisions and come up with the right fulfilled action. In any case, thank you very much for joining us today. We thought, today we brought it into action, and I'll let you guys know in the comments if my if it actually went through or not. All the best, ZogYechiHamelech. It's been a pleasure. Love hanging out with you guys. You guys are the best. And if you made it this far, please subscribe. I really need the subscribers right now. YouTube is coming down hard on the small guys, and they want to demonetize whatever's left of monetization. I have no idea, but they want to demonetize my channel because I don't have 1,000 subscribers. I have about a little over 500 subscribers, so every single subscriber matters. If you can share this video with your friends, I would really, really appreciate it. And, if you could also check out the rest of my stuff, and if you find something interesting, then share that as well. And all the best, ZogYechiHamelech. Hope to be able to bring you great content. And have a great, great week. Have a great year. And may the force be with you, ZogYechiHamelech.